Hey, how you doing? I was really skeptical when they taught me this exercise. What exercise? Get to that in a moment. Hi, I'm Dr. Symeon Rodger, and you're here because you want to know about all things resilience and human performance. And today I'm going to sensitize you to something you really need to know if you're doing any kind of energy work. Now, this particular example pertains to the world of Qigong and Tai Chi, one of the world's sort of most incredible exercise systems, actually unbelievable in its power and effectiveness. However, you can extrapolate it to whatever you're doing, which could be yoga, for example, or a number of other things. So to get down to it, what was I skeptical about? This occurred in a particular Tai Chi class where they were teaching us a particular Qigong form. Now, this Qigong form or exercise set had to do with your internal organs. And so there was a particular exercise for each major organ system. And what I'm going to demonstrate for you here is the one they told us was for the lungs. And it is indeed an official and recognized Qigong exercise for your lungs, the health of your lungs. So why was I skeptical about this particular exercise? Well, I'm going to walk you through it and you can tell me what you think. So I'm just going to back up a little bit so you can see it. So you begin this particular exercise. First of all, although you can't see it, I'm standing in a horse stance. So my feet are a little more than shoulder width apart, feet facing more or less straight ahead, or slightly turned out, doesn't matter. And slightly bent at the knees, but only slightly. Okay, that's lower body. Upper body, I have my palms here and I have them facing like in exactly this configuration, just lower down. I'm going to start lower down. And this exercise is quite simple. As I inhale, I will raise my palms. As I exhale, I will turn them over and push them out. So what does this look like? Well, it looks like this, okay? Pardon me. That's what the exercise looks like. Now, we were told that was an exercise for the lungs, that it would improve the health of your lungs. You might be asking, how the heck does it really do that? How does it specifically target the lungs versus anything else? Does that really make any sense? Can you really convince me? And maybe it's because I think in terms of, mechanisms and cause and effect. And okay, convince me. Convince me that isn't just a nice deep breathing exercise, or that I wouldn't get the same benefit from taking a walk in the park and doing some deep breathing there. So what's the truth about this exercise? Well, here's the truth. The truth is they left out something critical. Okay, what they were teaching us was the physical movement. Okay, you have your hands like this, bring them up, turn them over, push out. Okay, they also taught the breathing. You will inhale on the way up and you will exhale on this movement. Okay, so we've got a couple things. But actually, that is not the whole exercise. Once you know the real exercise, the way it should be taught, you will realize there's more to it. Because what you have to do is use your mental attention to identify the liver meridian in your feet and bring the energy up the liver meridian as you inhale, where it connects to the lung meridian. And then as you exhale, you're pushing the energy, the stale energy, along your lung meridians in your arms, and they exit at the thumbs. That's where the lung meridians exit. So in order to do this as a proper energetic exercise, you have to be aware of those energy lines in the body. And you have to use your mental attention in order to accomplish this. It's accomplished ultimately through internal feeling, although at first it can be a bit of sort of like visualization, pardon me, but it really does come down to feeling. You can actually feel energy once you know how to do this. But you see what they left out. They left out the real key. They left out the entire energetic component, the component that relies on mental attention and your internal energy anatomy. So we were left with the shallow exterior of an exercise that really wasn't targeting lungs at all. It was just an arbitrary breathing exercise masquerading as something that would affect the lungs specifically. So that's why I was skeptical. It turned out I was right to be skeptical. It was only some years later that that I learned the real thing, and then I could see, Okay. And in each case, with all the exercises in that particular system, there was this energetic component, and it had been completely left out of the teaching. Now, why does this happen? It happens because in my experience of 4.5 decades doing this, something like probably 90 to 95% of people who teach Qigong, Tai Chi, things like this, they don't have the whole story. They simply don't have the whole story. They're teaching what they know, but what they know is partial. Now, there's more to it than that, though, because very often what these people are doing is they're using old teaching methods. They're using the same teaching methods that they were fed, which are ineffective. They're ultimately ineffective. You don't make progress. You stall out. You wonder what's going on. You get bored. You think maybe there's nothing to this. And the reason is you're not actually being taught the whole thing, and you're not going deep. That's a huge problem. I saw it all the time. I see it all the time today. I still run into lots of people who've spent a year or two in Qigong or Tai Chi, and what they know is pathetic. Given the time that they put into it and the effort they put into it, they should know a lot more. And not a lot more in the sense of number of facts or number of different things they can do, but a lot more in terms of their depth. They should have made a lot more progress. And they're not, and that's on their teachers. Because there's only maybe 5 to 10% of teachers who are rebels and renegades, like me. And as a matter of fact, I was having a conversation not long ago with the guy who runs the annual World Tai Chi Qigong Day Festival event. I forget what he calls it. I've been there many times. I've been a speaker there for them many times. But anyway, he and I were chatting, and he was saying, look, I talked to, Tai Chi teachers, I think he was talking about at this particular point, and, asking what they could present, and they would just give me this banal stuff. And I'm thinking, you got to go deeper. You got to give people something real. But most of them just don't get it. He said their eyes would glaze over. What else is there? There's just, if it's Qigong, there's just the forms to go through, whether it's, muscle tendon changing or whatever. If it's Tai Chi, it's the Tai Chi form. That's not the point. That is not the real energy work. That is not what gets results. That's the problem. So beware of fake energy work. Make sure you're getting the real thing. And I know if you don't have experience, that's hard to do. But hopefully this example will have helped you. Now, if you're getting this video in time, you'll see there's a link down below to a webinar I'm doing in a few days, which will really explain a lot of this to you, but in much more depth. So that's it for now. I'm Dr. Symeon Rodger. Hopefully we'll see you on the webinar. If not, the next video. Take care.